Welcome home to St. Anne's. We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe to receive our sermons. We can't wait to meet you.
Oh, goodness. Okay. We have all sorts of things to cover today. First and foremost, I've decided that in the case of the apocalypse, I don't have to dress appropriately nor vest. So until we're all dead, I'm wearing jeans. So we could be here a while. All right, so many of you may or may not have heard that we're in a bit of a situation here. And for the first time, like ever, my medieval degree is going to be useful. And I'm so excited. I mean, not that there's like some new horrible, weird-ass virus thing that's killing everybody. No, that's horrible. That's terrible. But for the first time, like my degree is legitimate. And I have things to say. And I'm so excited. Okay, but before we start with that, just a few changes have to be made. For one thing, we are one of the very few churches meeting. And that's because I don't like to rush into things. And I'm like, we'll see what happens. Because whatever. Viruses are weird, germs are weird, humans are even weirder, and we'll just figure it out as we go. But we are in a state of emergency. Hopefully, maybe you've seen my pastoral letter. Don't tell me you didn't read it, but it's out there if you're like, I want to read that. Along with that comes the bishop has had several directives. And I have to say that we've been the most laid back of most of the dioceses that I'm aware of. A lot of dioceses have a zero public worship policy right now. And many Episcopal churches are not meeting, and many churches in general are not meeting for public worship right now. And guys, have you ever wanted to feel really cool and ahead of the curve? Because you're about to feel it. We have been streaming worship for a year. Everybody else is figuring it out today. So we've been here for a while. And don't you want to be like, welcome to the party, y'all. The dip is mostly gone, but we're glad you're here. You can say it now, because for the first time, like literally ever, we are ahead of the curve on something. I'm so excited about that too. I mean, second only to the fact that my medieval degree is actually going to be useful today. Okay, so changes that are coming with that. I know you guys don't believe me, but intinction or dipping into the chalice is really, really dirty, and it's not supposed to be done. So this is actually not from me. It is forbidden to dip from the chalice. So as of right now, I'm not pulling the chalice. We still have wine today at communion. We're going to do communion, and we're going to have wine because, like I already said, I don't like to rush into things. So I'm not going to. So we're still meeting until they tell me I can't. And 2, we're doing full communion, including wine. You may not dip. Don't put your dirty little fingers in there. It's nasty. So I'm going to tell you something that's even potentially you're going to think nastier. You can only drink from it. But it's okay. Because what we know is that doesn't actually spread disease as much as we think it would. Science, it's weird. So if you are like, I'm living on the edge, and I want some of that wine, because it's pretty good wine. Like, we had wine tastings to select our wine. We have a really good wine. And you really want part of that, it is going to be available. The chalice will be over there. So you have to, like, make an effort to trek over there. Somebody tackle Caroline Rhodes if she goes over there. Because she's going to. Because she'll be like, wait, we all get to drink? Game on. Okay, so somebody tackle her if she goes over there. If you want wine, it's going to be over there. 2, we are not passing the plates. So, 1, you can give online if you so choose. Okay, first and foremost, no kids? I do not give a damn if you give money to this church. Okay? I mean, like, please do. But But that is like, of all the things that are keeping me awake at night, like little viruses that have little crowns on their heads, so we call them coronas. That worries me a little bit. So that is like way above like how you all giving money, okay? But I like money. I like having a job. I like having a church. So there is a plate back there if you decide to give money. You can also give it online. We have a PayPal account. So if you go online, you can figure out how to give money. And you don't have to worry about like germs and stuff. And wipe down your keyboard before you do it, because keyboards are dirty, including yours, even though you're germs. Okay. So there's that. Oh, during the peace, don't be touching each other. No touching. I mean, if you're married, those are your own germs. You do what you want with them. Erica's like, we're going to make out in Frederick. No, we're not. You could elbow bump. I know some people are into that. You could elbow bump. You could fist bump. You could peace. Okay. Oh, you do jazz hands. Ooh, that's a new one. I didn't know about jazz hands. You could jazz hands because we're Episcopalians and we are fabulous. So you could jazz hands. Okay. Now, you'll notice maybe, I don't know, maybe you didn't. You're just like, nobody wants to go to St. Anne's. I don't know. It could be that too. But people aren't supposed to be going to church. Y'all are rebellious. Y'all be rebellious people. Anyway, everybody's supposed to be streaming online. So I told you we've been doing it for a year, and we have people who usually stream. And usually, like, I don't make a big deal about it because, like, hey, that's just how we are. But can we all acknowledge them? So hello, people who are joining us online. They're back there. Their little cameras back there. They're watching us. So during the peace, we're going to peace to the people online too, because here's the thing. We are the body of Christ. We are the body of Christ. We are the church. Whether or not you're sitting in this chair or you're sitting in that chair or however you are part of our family, you are part of the Christian family. That is how it works. And when 2 or 3 are gathered, Christ is in our midst. And it doesn't matter how we gather. It matters that we gather. So, folks, even if this is the last time that we are supposed to be allowed to have public worship, here's a small secret. All the gear to stream the service is here. So I want to move it around. So I'm going to be here on out, even if we're not having public worship. I'm just saying, because y'all rebelling already. I don't. I'm 5'4" and like maybe 105 pounds. I am not God's bouncer. Also, I'm crippled, so I am like really not bouncing anything here. So whoever's here is here. Having said that, please make good choices. Please, please, please. We are trying to prevent the spread of a potentially very dangerous disease. And me, because I'm a bit of a germaphobe, I would like to end things such as pink eye and influenza and all the other nasty little diseases that my kids, your kids, and all the other kids that go to school with me are spreading around. And the best way to do that is for them not to be sharing them. Did you know that ringworm is on the rise? It is. It's currently living on one of my kids. Gross. That is just nasty. Fungus is nasty. Okay, so I am a firm believer in social distancing and doing whatever we have to do to protect our society and our community. So please, please, please follow those directives, okay? So let's see. I said no touching. I mean, whatever you do at your home that's your own business. And I'm just saying I'd like a larger youth group, so you do you. No, anyway. We're going to get to a sermon, I swear to you. It's going to happen. Let's see. I said communion. I said giving. Today will probably be our last day for coffee hour. I know. Because I know. But Ruth may well go ahead and start the coffee pot, so there could be coffee, and this could be This could be one of y'all's rebellious things where you're like, Meg said we can't do coffee hour, but we doing it anyway. She ain't locking the doors. Because she ain't locking the doors. Okay, I think if I covered all the, like, weird coronavirus things. Okay, here's the good news. We've been here before. And I know I've never done it before. We are in unprecedented territory. The last time that churches went through something like this was 1918, the Spanish flu. What? Yeah, I know. Heads up, it wasn't the Spanish fault. It was not Spain's fault. It didn't even start there. They just like really started to notice it, and the poor Spaniards got blamed for it. It's not their fault. It just like really took off there. So, yeah, I mean, you don't want that title. Look what happened to the pigs with swine flu. Anyway, it's better to go by something like COVID-19 because like we can't blame anybody for that.
Are you saying that it's not the Chinese fault either?
No, it is not. It is the bats' fault. And I love bats, so I ain't blaming no bats because they eat their own body weight in bugs every night. So don't you go hating on the bats either. It's the bats' fault. I mean, really, it's some virus that was like, I could live longer if I mutated. So go blame a virus. But the virus is just trying to survive, so don't go judging the virus either. We're all just trying to live here. There is no one to blame. So, let's see. Oh, anyway, churches, but here's the thing. We've been figuring this out for a long time. And remember I said my medieval degree is going to come in handy? I'm not excited I am about this. Did y'all hear that? The Black Death. That's right. At the Black Death, the bubonic plague, rats. Fleas on rats. You gotta blame the fleas. I have no qualms blaming fleas for literally anything. They're disgusting. Okay, little bloodsuckers. Okay, so 60% of the population died, okay? 60%. To put that in perspective, 1% of COVID-19. So, and that is a high. I do not want to downplay this at all. That is a very high mortality rate, actually, especially if you're over 60, so. Just looking at the floor now. 60% of folks died. It was a highly, basically, if you get bubonic plague, you're dead. And it's not a good death, okay? And that is really when we figure out how to be church as you and I know it. So we have done this before. Folks, we're going to be okay. Whatever happens, you and I are going to be okay. Now, will things change? Absolutely. And isn't that the message of the gospel today? Because here's what's going on in the gospel today. Up until now, Jesus has been talking to the Jewish folks, right? His people. And would you believe it? Those jerks are not listening to him. They're like, we're Israel. We got this. We don't need you. And he's getting kind of frustrated because his movement is just not taking off the way he thought it would, right? And then he comes to the well. Now, I don't know how much you all know about picking up chicks in this time period, but the well is where you go. That's like where you meet people. If you want to start a singles bar, you call it the well. You go to the well. So the fact that this lady is hanging out at the well at an odd time of day, she's the only one there. All the other women, the like okay women, they already been to the well. And they're gone. So she's having to go to the well by herself to go hunting at like an off time, right? I would make some really inappropriate jokes, but ask me later what they would be. And so Jesus is there, and he runs into her. So we've got this woman who he's really rude and mean when he is like, about all your husbands, and the one you got ain't no husband to you, right? Okay. You picked up that Jesus is being really rude here. Okay. So we got that. We got that she's a Samaritan. We don't like Samaritans. Say boo, Samaritans. They're like the fleas. Like, ugh, we don't like them. Okay. And yet, Jesus engages with this woman, and she engages back. And this is really, really important because from here on out, you'll notice in Scripture, he begins to seek out the Gentiles. This changes everything. His engagement with this woman changes his ministry. And it's kind of surprising because all of a sudden he's willing to look at adding Gentiles into the mix, adding Samaritans in the mix. This is new. And one of the important exchanges that they have is she kind of knocks back at him. She's like, well, your people say that we have to go to Jerusalem. Well, we ain't going to Jerusalem. This holy hill has been good enough for us ever since Jacob, who dug this well. Heads up. You know Jacob? Yeah, you know Jacob. He's our Jacob, and he dug this well. We've been okay here for a long time. We ain't going to no Jerusalem. Okay, so she engages back, right? What does he say to her? He says something really, really interesting. The time is coming and is now here when place won't matter. Place will not matter. It doesn't matter if it's Jerusalem. It doesn't matter if it's your stupid hill. It doesn't matter where it is because God's people worship in spirit and truth. And I can't think of a more appropriate Sunday than this one for you and I to wrestle with that. Place doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Jerusalem. It doesn't matter if it's Rome. It doesn't matter if it's the National Cathedral. It doesn't matter if it's our cathedral here. It doesn't matter if it's St. Anne's. Place doesn't matter because church isn't place. Church is relationship. Church is spirit and truth. It is seeking relationship. It is seeking spiritual connection. It is seeking truth together. And it doesn't matter where we do it. It doesn't matter if you're here. It doesn't matter if you're there. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. And what does that mean for us as a church? I told you, in the Middle Ages, church changed. One of the big changes is the baptism of infants. Would you like to know why? Here's why we baptize infants. Historically, we were kind of believers' baptism because, people weren't Christian, and so you kind of came to it later, which is interesting. There's kind of resurgence in that now. Would you believe up until I started working here, I baptized more adults than I had children? Yeah. And it's because there's kind of a resurgence. People left the church. Boomers. We blame the boomers for everything, we millennials. It's fine. You guys do it back. Okay. So anyway, remember that Black Plague that I was telling you about? The Black Death? Okay. It is not a respecter of souls. It doesn't care who it goes after, right? Because it's fleas. And fleas just like anything with blood, right? You're a mammal. Fleas are like, boom, we're there. Okay, everybody gets it, including all the clergy. So the clergy is just like dropping, because remember what I told you, 60% of the population is wiped out by this, right? Well, the clergy are all like up in the society, up in the fleas. They're dying too. There aren't enough clergy. So we get into a situation where we're like, well, we got to get these people baptized, but we don't have enough clergy to go around. And so the clergy are literally having to travel to get around. They're going pretty far distances, so you might not see a priest for a very long time. So when the priest shows up, we baptize in everybody, all right? Because you don't know when you're going to run across a priest again, like in this lifetime, because they might die, you might die, it could be 5 years. We don't know. So everybody getting baptized. including the what? The babies. We're baptizing the babies now. Okay, so that's why we do it. Okay, so the church changes. The church changes because it must change. And sometimes theology and the reality of our existence, sometimes they go together. Sometimes they jazz hands. And sometimes they're like, ooh, we're just going to have to figure this one out. Okay, so they've got to figure it out. And one of my favorite saints at this time is Julian of Norwich. And one, because she likes cats, and I like cats. Two, she's an anchoress, and I would have no interest in being an anchoress whatsoever. I can't shut up. I could not be in a cell. But anyway, she, anyone heard of Julian of Norwich? Okay, Julian of Norwich is, look her up if you have not. She is amazing, amazing. She's a mystic. She's a theologian. She's absolutely brilliant. But she is very much active during one of the big rounds of Black Death is like 1348 to 1350. I think. Did I tell you it's been a long time since I got that degree? So you double check that. I could be wrong. I'm thinking roughly there. Okay. And she's active at this time. And one of the things that she writes, and this is so, so very, very important. So I want you to hear this, because this is the message that I think we need to hear today. And if Julian can say it in the midst of the Black Death, which kills what percent of people? 60. That's most of them, by the way. You and I can hear it today. All shall be well. And all shall be well. And all manner of things shall be well. If Julian of Norwich can say that, you and I can say that. All shall be well. And all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Will they be different? Yes. Should they be different? Absolutely. But folks, have we not known for a really long time that we need to change? Right? Yeah, I mean, we've known for a while that the church needs to grow up and change. But we've been able to find ways to not do it. I told you, we've been streaming for a year here, right? Would you like to know the response to Meg's crazy weird scheme to stream from a diocesan national church level? They're like, well, that's cute. There goes Meg doing her weird thing again. Her weird stream and her weird bees and her weird refusal to fast if she doesn't feel like it. Because fasting's stupid. I know, it is. It's a medieval thing because it was cold. Speaking of Middle Ages. You know why you have a hood? You know why you have master's hoods? I know, I told you, I'm so excited to get to use my medieval degree. I'm so excited. I know, we're going to preach on forever. Oh my God, I've been preaching for like half an hour. Oh, I feel kind of bad. Not that bad. Okay. Master's hoods. Because it's cold and everything is stone and it's really, really cold. So you wear layers and layers of stuff and you're studying and you need a hood because it's cold. And so you get a hood, you know, this thing that you wear on the back. I have several of them. And actually I never bought one, but I have them. Okay, so you put it over your head to stay warm. That's why you have them. It doesn't mean a thing. All of this stuff that we've become so attached to and we can't let go of it, it doesn't mean a thing. Place means nothing. It doesn't matter if it's Jerusalem. It doesn't matter if it's a holy rock that your great I don't even know what relation. She's not related to Jacob, by the way, but she thinks she might be. And it's his well and his rock, and it's sacred. It's not sacred. Do you know what's sacred? Spirit and truth. Spirit between you and me and connection with the divine and truth. Seeking truth, seeking it together. Those are the things that are sacred. Those are the rocks on which Christ builds his church. His church is not a place. It is a people. All people. And you and I will build those connections, and it doesn't matter how we do it. It doesn't matter if we do it here. It doesn't matter if we do it there. It doesn't matter if it's green eggs and ham. It doesn't matter if it's with a goat in a boat. Don't, oh. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. And so I say to you again, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. And you're like, you could have said that half an hour ago, and we could have saved so much time. But my guys,
We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe to receive our sermons. We can't wait to meet you.